Right, and in your sports news, here's a topic that's dividing the sporting world: the proliferation of influencers, YouTube personalities turned boxers like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI, and even South Africa's very own Cassper Nyovest, a musician and also an amateur boxer. Cassper joins me now in studio ahead of his fight with Priddy Ugly. Cassper, welcome. I hope I'm not offending by lumping you in with influencers.
I was a bit offended. I was like, no, I'm not a YouTube influencer, but I saw a musician somewhere there, so it's all right. Thank you for having me.
But we've been seeing these guys coming out of the woodwork, and boxers say, "Oh, hang on, stop stepping on our territory." Yeah. And then suddenly they find out these guys can fight.
Exactly.
And suddenly you've got some boxers who are cancelling bouts, running away. I'm thinking of a certain Fury.
Yeah.
So it's not a joke. I mean, if you set foot in a boxing gym, it's real. 20 minutes in a boxing gym will sort you out.
3 minutes, man. It's very difficult. It seems easy when you look at, someone else doing it, but I've got a great, amount of respect for boxers, for professional boxers. But the funny thing is, maybe in the States it's been resisted, but in South Africa, I think we've been, getting nothing but love from professional boxers, from promoters. So we haven't experienced any resistance, and people love it as well.
Absolutely. Well, boxers, they're some of the best self-promoters on the planet.
Yeah.
You're not stepping on any of their toes by coming into their realm and maybe out-promoting them and showing them how to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if anything, we're shining a light on the sport. A lot of professional boxers have been saying, thank you for doing this, because usually they'd perform, in small halls or, play in small, dining areas for those who have the money to do something like that. So finally, we're doing events that are big. Like next week, we're out at the Sun Arena, which is a place that takes 8,500 people. I don't remember a boxing event that big in the past 10 years in South Africa. So, it's definitely helping the sport, if anything.
I mean, there are easier ways to get publicity. Talk to us through your training regime, the gym you work out in, and how it is surviving those workouts. Because again, we cannot overstate that you can't go through the motions when you set foot in a boxing gym. Exactly. Maybe in a Virgin Active, but not a boxing gym.
Yeah, you're right. I've been training out of a gym called Fight Club. There's a lot of the clubs around South Africa. And I started my boxing journey there. It's been crazy, it's been hard. I remember when I started and I thought I was a strong guy. And, I was humbled within the first 3 minutes, and I had to go back to basics, just learning how to jab, changed my diet. Like, basically, I lost 15 kilos in the past 5 weeks just training for this fight. So it's definitely the hardest training I've ever done in my life. Weightlifting is easy, compared to this. I think if anyone wants to lose weight or just keep fit, I think they should try boxing. It's definitely something I would recommend.
And in terms of the fights, properly controlled, everybody's there, the commissioners. Because, again, something that you can't play around with. It's real, it's not amateur, although you are fighting as an amateur, but this is very much real boxing.
Exactly. So the fight is sanctioned by BSA, Boxing South Africa, so we're fighting within their rules. We're fighting within exhibition rules. There's certain gloves that we have to use. But as far as the fight, we can fight as hard as we want. There's not going to be any head guard, but there's going to be, medical support. There's 5 professional fights before us as well for the boxing enthusiasts that would love to see, professional fights. So we are the main card, me and Priddy Ugly. But we definitely have to do things by the book. As if you're a fan of boxing, they say you don't play boxing. You can play soccer, you play basketball, but you don't play boxing.
Absolutely. Talk us through your record and what you hope to achieve in your boxing career. Is this going to be the culmination, or is this just the next step?
This is definitely something I'm going to be doing for a while. I'm going to, as a promoter and as an athlete as well, I'm going to do a lot of exhibitions, and I'm going to take it international. I actually just got an offer to come and fight in England next year sometime. It's still a bit confidential, so we're working on the contract. So I might be fighting in London next year sometime. And I'm also going to do a lot of exhibition fights in South Africa as well. We're going to go into Africa. It's not something that I'm doing as once off because I love the sport and I also want to shine, a light on the boxing history that we have here. We had the greats of, the Baby Jakes, the Dingaan Tobelas, and we still have world champs in South Africa that we don't even know about.
That's an important point you bring up. So Boxing South Africa, you're going to help them now with their archives, with their legacy projects.
Exactly.
That's exciting because a lot of South African sport does get forgotten about if people pass away.
Exactly. Like the legendary husband to that. There's a lady we're working with called Joyce Kuwan. And she is probably one of the biggest female promoters. So she is also, working on a legacy project for her husband. And we are also trying to build a relationship with Boxing South Africa to not only honor the legends that have passed on, but the ones that are living and also the ones that are being created. Like, for instance, there's a kid who just won a world title now last week. I just forgot his name. I didn't even know him until last week. But, there's the Kevin Lirinas who are taking over in the heavyweight division. We have Olympians in South Africa that we don't even know about. So we're definitely going to be shining a light on the professional boxers. It's not about me. I'm just using, my stardom to shine a light on the sport.
I mean, artists, musicians, hip-hop artists, they beef within the lyrics.
Yeah.
You're now taking the lyrics one step further. Your community of artists, how have they taken to that?
I think,
no one wants to beef with you anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. That's the funny thing. People used to talk crazy, before the boxing thing, and it used to get real aggressive. I remember I used to get in, I got in a few squabbles in clubs and stuff, and I said, let's not behave like hooligans. If we wanted to fight, we could take it to a boxing ring, because they say rap is a sport. So we could keep it in the sport. We could go into the boxing ring. But ever since, guys see me fight, I don't hear anybody talking like that anymore. So I think it's a great way to solve things. And I also think, people know now that I don't play around. I've got hands, you know what I mean?
But talk about your art as well. That's not on the back burner.
Yeah.
It's working congruently with your boxing career.
Yeah. I just released a new single called Pardon My Arrogance. It's just energy. Music is always within my blood, and I love the fact that SA hip-hop is also starting to buzz again. So I'm always going to be doing music. It's just that I'm someone who likes to explore, but more than anything, I'm an entertainer. If I pick up something and I find it entertaining, I'm always going to strive at that. So I'm a musician first. And, I develop products. I'm into the fashion thing. I sell shoes. If you haven't checked out my shoes, go to any drip store near you and check out the 99. These are actually my shoes that I'm wearing, actually.
I'm always promoting. White on white.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Priddy Ugly. He's got coming to him 1st of October in Pretoria. Cassper Nyovest.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You can't fake boxing. Cassper's telling us. You got to get in it, and you got to put in the hard yards. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.